Going live. Hi guys. Hi, welcome. I'm so excited. Welcome to Jacqueline Valdez Live. I'm really excited to talk about how to live a happy and fulfilled life today on our show. And we have a fabulous guest coming up, attorney and life coach Poonam Bhuchar. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jacqueline, for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Yes, I'm so excited for today. We are ready and we are set to go to make this life a better life. So
Abs-
yes, so I'm so excited to meet you. We connected through David Meltzer. Shout out, thank you. And
yes.
so tell me a little bit about your journey.
Okay, so like you said, shout out to David. Thank you so much. My journey has been, as you said, I've been an attorney for 24 years, and about 2 years ago, I wrote a book called Safe from the Pain. It was basically my journey on how I went through 4 decades of my life denying that I was in any kind of pain, which actually manifested into physical things like me having strokes, a spinal tap. I've had multiple surgeries, and it was really the stress is imprinted in my body. And there's so much scientific research to show that that happens, but I was in complete denial. But at the same time, I've been on this journey for 14 years of revamping my life, revamping my mindset. And people saw me back in 2010, where I lost a business, I lost a home. I rebuilt that business into a seven-figure business. I traveled the world with my kids, ran a successful practice. And they were like, well, how did you get from there to there? And when I look back, it was what I called the safe method on processing my pain. I needed to figure a way to move forward. For me personally, no knock on therapists. I couldn't find the right one. It didn't work, and I needed to figure it out. So I went down a spiritual path. And when I look back at it, it was the safe method, the 4 step process that I personally worked through myself to get to the other side. And that's what in the past year, I sold 3/4 of my practice because I believe this is my soul calling. It's to do emotional trauma work, it's to do emotional healing work, mindset work. But I've also combined it with my legal knowledge, and I also now do divorce journey coaching, which is 1 out of 2 marriages fail practically.
Wow.
And the legal system doesn't do justice to the emotions that people are going through. And part of the reason people end up spending extortionate amounts on legal fees, they don't have clarity, they're angry, they're mad, they're sad. And parallel to that, the fees rack up. So that's where I've now come in to do the emotional and use my legal knowledge to help guide them in the process and reduce their legal fees. So this is what my soul calling is now.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. It's an amazing story too, how you've gone through different hardships and traumas and you've turned things around and really taken control of your life and changed that path and changed your destiny. I've actually been starting some body work lately, and it is so incredible once you start to find that spiritual approach and you really find your authentic self, and how the body does store trauma that you really had no idea that you thought you mentally had overcome.
I couldn't agree with you more. I was in so much denial. Like I remember when I was warned that I was going to have a stroke, and
Wow.
I was like putting on this facade. I was working crazy hours. I didn't want to deal with anyone telling me it was stress. And ultimately, it really did bring me to my knees. But as you said, once you start to heal, your body works with you. As you know, you're the expert in the area.
Right, that's so true. It's so important to have that mind-body connection, to have that spiritual connection, and to keep movement in your life, whether it's moving through your emotions, moving through your actual body, and just moving through that healing process, even if it's difficult and challenging.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. Was it scary in that path that you were almost wanting to turn back? And how did you find that courage to face that fear of, I guess, the unknown, you would say?
Jacqueline, I always say that um, if you don't listen to the universe, the amount of times when I look back, I had so many warning signs that I need to listen to myself. I need to listen to my body. I need to listen to what's going on, whether that's the patterns that I was creating in my life or whether that was the way I was reacting. There was so many signs there, but I refused to listen. And I always say that if you don't listen to the universe, it will come tumbling down on you until you do. So for me, it was truly in 2012 or 13, I believe, when I had my first stroke. And they couldn't figure out why, what was going on, whatever. And I remember just waking up and just seeing so much light. And I
Wow.
remember just being like, I don't want to live like this anymore. There's got to be another way to live life. There just has to be. And for me, it was really physically being brought to my knees. Where for me, I can't even say it was scary. I had two young kids
Hmm.
who were sitting on the bed saying, Mom, are you going to die?
Oh, wow.
And to me, that was just like, okay, something has to change there. There is no reason a 10 and 12-year-old need to be packing my hospital bags day in, day out. And there's no reason for them to be asking me this question. There has to be another answer and a way to live life. And that was my quest.
Wow. And that's such a huge testament on how much your mind thought really does affect things and how much the universe, like you said, that's a great tip that you gave of tuning into the universe and tuning into yourself, taking that moment, being present, and really make those changes because life is really short. You never know what will happen and when it will happen.
Yeah, I think we spend so much time, a lot of us, focusing on pleasing other people and we don't listen to ourselves.
Yeah.
When I never understood that concept that the answers are always within you, I'd be like, what are you talking about?
Right.
But they really are. And it's when we learn to trust ourselves and put ourselves first that everything aligns with what's going on around us.
Oh my gosh, I love this so much. Our conversation was meant to happen, and especially today because it is resonating with so many things that go on in my life right now too. And it's like you said, finding that time to put yourself first, not people pleasing, and really showing yourself that love, that respect. And once you start to do that, then things start to happen and manifest for the better.
100%. I think, it's interesting. Everybody talks about manifestation. You need to write this, you need to write your feelings, you need to do this.
Yeah,
But what I say, just from my own experience in life, until you clean your insides out, you don't know who you are and you can't possibly know what you want. So then how can you manifest?
that's so true. I love that tip. You're dropping gems today. I love that so much. So, what is a tip that you would give someone who is dealing with either an illness or a disease or something that they feel is just taking over them and they don't really know how to see that light or to find that light to make a change, to make a shift?
So, if I may, could I just quickly describe my safe method that helped
Yes,
me?
I would love that.
So, I was really great in those situations, and I know people go through much worse than me, but from fibromyalgia to depression to strokes,
Right.
it's very easy. I was class A in playing a victim. It was okay for me to be angry, mad, and sad at the world because it was justified. All this crap had happened to me,
Right.
and I had justified why it was okay for me to behave this way.
Wow.
But you've got a choice. You either let that thing overtake you, and I know some things are outside of our control, but a lot of it is mindset. There are people like I've had fibromyalgia, it's been tough to wake up, it's been tough to walk, but when I took care of my mindset, it's not in my life to the extent it was before. It's literally I had to stop and acknowledge that I'm in pain. A lot of us continue on the hamster wheel and we don't give ourselves the grace to say that I'm in pain. This is what I'm feeling today, no matter how big or small that emotion.
Yeah.
The A is accept responsibility for where you are and the decisions you've made. So in my life, it was, well, I keep continuing the same pattern, or I may not be to blame for the things that have happened to me, but I didn't do anything to stop them either. I was a lawyer. I knew better, but my insecurities and my fear took over. So I need to accept that I didn't do the work that I was supposed to.
Right.
The F is forgiveness. Three types of forgiveness. Forgiveness of the people that you perceive have hurt you, because it is a perception. Do you want to spend the next 30 years of your life being angry at somebody that's moved on, done whatever they've done, and you destroy the rest of your life? Or do you want to take control over it by humanizing them, empathizing with them, and saying, perhaps they had their own trauma that was unresolved, and that's why they did what they did, but I bless you and I have unconditional love. Go do what you need to do, but I'm going to move forward with my life.
True.
Second type of forgiveness is forgiveness of the universe. We all get pissed at the universe because we got dealt a crappy set of cards. But as we talked about earlier, when you align and you recognize that we're one and the universe isn't against us, when we don't get things, it's because there was something better or there was a lesson to learn. And we learn and we move on. Forgiveness of oneself, the hardest thing that I found in the world, to forgive yourself, but we forgive other people. Why not give ourselves this grace and space to do that? And for me, it's as long as I commit to being a better version of myself every single day, I can forgive myself. And the E is embrace. Embrace the accolades about yourself, but also embrace your flaws and your mistakes, because that's what really makes you whole. And when you're whole is when you know what you want and who you are and you're comfortable in your own skin. But more so than that, I've switched careers because I believe it's my mission to reduce the generational trauma that's going on. We all kick the can down the road, but it's time we held ourselves accountable, our kids accountable for their emotions, our emotions, so that we're not kicking the can down the road, so that we can stop those generational traumas and those cycles. And I believe every single one of us are capable of doing it and have a social responsibility to do so.
I love that so much. It's so true. It's like a domino effect.
Yes, and we don't realize.
Yeah. One person can make a difference and you can make an impact, and it makes such a huge effect in the universe and such a huge effect in making the world a better place for everyone.
We deserve to, each of us deserve that for ourselves and for one another.
Yeah. And like you said, finding that self-love, as I've talked to many people, that self-love is really the hardest thing for a lot of people, and forgiveness, because we don't know what we don't know then. And as you mature and grow older, you become wiser, is very true, because there's things you would have not have done at a younger age or at a past, experience.
What $1 million thing you just said. If I could go back and revamp 40 years of my life, I think I would save a lot of heartache.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's been such a pleasure. I love talking with you. You're dropping so many gems, so many beautiful things, so many words of inspiration, and so many, facts that people are just having a really hard time struggling with, is finding that victim mentality and really just getting out of that mindset and believing in yourself to make that change.
I appreciate the opportunity. It's been such a pleasure speaking with you.
Yes, it has. And you had said that you wrote a book. What was that whole adventure of going through that experience?
Yeah, somebody asked me this the other day, and I know nobody's going to believe me when I say this, but I remember the founder of the law firm that I was affiliated said,
Uh-huh.
"You work 80 hours a week. We see you. How did you have time to write a book?" And it was literally me just sitting there on a Sunday, 4 hours I'd 4 hours a week, I'd say for about 5 to 6 months. And I said to somebody the other day, that book didn't come from me, it came through me, because when I go back and read that book, I'm like, I wrote that because
Yeah.
so I'm convinced it didn't come from me, it came through me because the ease with which it came
Oh.
is actually pretty scary.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that. So I've been having interviews, and everyone that I've been talking to, it's so familiar, and everyone's spoken about being a vessel and being, this greater power and this greater being with the universe and things coming through them. So I love that you share that story also, because I'm finding myself connecting with people now that have this awakening, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
And
And
it's fascinating to see.
yeah, and it's so fabulous to see and connect with this energy around the world, don't matter where we're at, that we all have this similar connection.
I believe like minds attract like minds, right? When
Yeah.
you vibrate higher, everything around you shifts.
Yes, yes, that's so true. I love that. And like you mentioned, vibrating higher. So, how would a tip that you would give someone in to find that higher vibration, to find your authentic self? Because it's pretty amazing that you've stepped into this different path. You used to be an attorney, and now you're a life coach, and now you're really making a difference and an impact among others in a bright way.
I truly do think it starts with us first. It's never about, it's when I coach people, whether they're going through divorce or emotional trauma, I'm like, it's never about the other party, it's about you. And people start to realize that it really does start with us, and it's finding out who we are and what we feel. I think most importantly, what we feel. Stop ignoring ourselves. And it's not selfish
Yeah.
to have self care, it's actually supports the rest of our lives and the people around us.
I love that you said that. Yes. Love yourself. Exactly. And to touch up on what you mentioned earlier about working with couples, that you've been diving into that area also.
So I work with individuals who are thinking about divorce or going through divorce, but everybody that works with me doesn't end up getting divorced. There are people who do, but it's about teaching them to manage their emotions and also help them in the legal process, maybe find an attorney, look over their documents, discuss. I can't give legal advice because I represent people all over the states, but it's using my legal knowledge to give them ideas on child custody. I had somebody who didn't know that she needed to file a support motion. She asked her attorney didn't do it. And then she showed me the paperwork. I'm like, where's the motion of support? She went back to her attorney and her attorney filed it. So it's more about rather than being a ping pong ball in the legal process, it's empowering you emotionally and legally so that you can see that it's a very difficult process, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. And the less angry and mad that we are,
Right.
the more we are likely to be civil towards our ex and also not use the kids as pawns.
Right. Right. Wow. And I love that you tied your past and your future together to, embrace and empower each of your talents.
I never looked at it that way. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow. Thank you.
Of course. What adventures do you have coming up for you?
So I am doing a lot more emotional trauma coaching. Just released a book with Les Brown, as I was the co-author in one of Les Brown's books on why a divorce coach is needed and why you need to handle your emotions as well as the legal process. I am looking to create a divorce concierge service for high net worth clients so I can create centers for people who can't afford you know the emotional coaching and the divorce coaching, but to help everybody find an easier way forward. And it's not mediation, because while I'm a fan of mediation, mediation does not work for people who aren't aware of the finances and who can't handle their emotions. It just doesn't.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I would have not known that. That's good to know.
Yeah, you have to know the finances in order to be able to mediate.
Yeah. Wow. Well, it sounds like an exciting new adventure coming up for you too.
Yeah, I am. I am super excited. It's a
Yeah.
different phase of life. I just moved to LA as well, so it's a little
Oh, wow, that's exciting.
yeah, I picked up my bags and moved.
Another adventure. And I love that you're just letting yourself flow with things and letting the universe just guide you and letting yourself glow. You're glowing, you're inspiring, you're so uplifting. I love it. I'm so happy for you.
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
of course, of course. What is it that you want to be remembered for?
For leaving a legacy and making a change in the world.
Mm,
That's truly what my second phase of life has to be.
no, I love
Because it's easy to look back in life and say, well, why did this happen? Why did that?
it.
I want to say these things happened and I don't regret any of them because if it helps me make a change in the world and stop somebody else from feeling the way that I did, then to me, it's all worth it.
Oh, and you're already making such a change and such a difference in people's
Hope
lives.
so. Fingers crossed.
I love it. I'm so excited to keep following your journey and keep seeing what happens and unfolds for you. It has been such a pleasure to talk with you.
Likewise, Jacqueline, thank you so much. It's
Yes,
been such a pleasure speaking with you
yes,
too.
we will definitely keep in touch.
Yes, I love your energy too. It's
Oh,
amazing.
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It has been such a fabulous time. Thank you for watching Jacqueline Valdez Live, illuminating the world one voice at a time. Thank you, guys. Lots of love and light.